What's up, everybody? Welcome to Philly Insider Podcast. You know what day it is. It's Wednesday, meaning it's weekly Pick'em Wednesday. I got Hunter with me. The pointing never works out, so I'm not even going to try. And let's just get right to it, man. We love the pointing. We love the pointing. Let's get right to it, dude. Let's go with these locks. I'm going to give mine real fast. I got the Niners winning at the Jags this week. I just think the Niners, despite people clowning Kyle Shanahan, I don't know where this narrative that Kyle Shanahan is a bad coach is coming from. He's had a few off bad games in big moments, but man, I'm not willing to write him off yet. He's still a great coach, in my opinion. You saw what they just did to the Rams. My gosh. And that's with being banged up on their defense with a ton of injuries. And, you know, the Jags are the Jags. That's it. That's all I got.
I've got the Thursday night game, man. Look, the Patriots are coming off of just a blowout win versus a solid Browns team. I mean, whatever you think about them without Odell, all the drama that's going on, like they've got a lot of talent there. And the Pats to do that to them was very impressive. Look, my guy Ramondre, been a big fan of him for a while, aka LeGarrette 2.0, just balled out last week. I mean, he had a game, and on a short week, I imagine Damian Harris might not be ready. So we'll see how that works out. But look, also former Patriot, who's now in the Falcons, Cordero Patterson, will not be playing most likely for a couple of weeks. So that's a big loss for the Falcons. I think it's going to be too much for them to overcome. And, you know, I think they're going to be feeling that curse again still from years ago.
Dang, you know, it's a tough moment. That's a tough moment you just brought up for all of Atlanta.
All I'm saying is it better not be 28-3 at some point.
Oh my goodness. Let's move past the 28-3 joke. And let's go to the upset, my guy. Who's your upset for this week?
I had a really tough time picking an upset, but I'm going back to, if you go back to our week 2, you pick on Wednesday. My guy, Tyrod Taylor, was balling out and unfortunately got hurt in that game that I picked him to beat the Browns. And I was like really feeling good before he went out. Yeah. Look, the Titans are on a little bit of a hot streak right now, and they've been playing well, but I think that the Texans, look, they got nothing to lose right now. And I think Tyrod had a little bit of a rough week before the bye week. I think he's going to come out here. He's going to play some good football. And I think they might catch the Titans sleeping here. And I think they're going to get the upset.
I got you. Now, coming off the bye week, you got to be wary for that. You got to be wary for that, for teams getting just caught sleeping. But my upset, it's a bit less. It's definitely a lot less than that, the one you called. But I got the Ravens at Bears. I'm taking the Bears, man. For one, home field, Soldier Field, you know, it gets rough there in the colder months, man. I get the Ravens. They're used to playing in Baltimore.
I'm here. I'm literally here.
He knows. It gets cold down there at Soldier Field, man. It does. And I'm just saying, look, the Bears have been kind of like, you know, back and forth. They've had some high points, some low points. Just we've seen Justin Fields try to start figuring out the NFL. Well, try being the operative word. Is Nagy a terrible coach? Is Nagy a decent coach? Most people have sided with terrible. I'm giving him the year, but like, again, he needs to start proving himself if he don't want to be out of a job at the end of this year. So you know what I'm saying? This is a big game, I think, for the Bears. If they could get the dub over the Ravens here, that's a really quality win. Like, that goes a long way to helping you keep your job, Matt Nagy and Justin Fields. That would be something to see your rookie QB ball like that against a team of the Ravens caliber. So I am taking the Bears. I just think they got a little bit of spark to them right now. I think they might catch the Ravens, who are also starting to show their injuries a little bit more, if that makes sense. A lot of times early in the year, man, they were winning in spite of those injuries. They're starting to catch up to them a bit now. So I'm taking the Bears. Now let's get to the highlight games, bro. We got some pretty decent highlight games this week, some pretty good ones. Let's start it off with the Bengals at the Raiders. Dude, I'll give mine real fast for this. I believe the Raiders are going through too much off the field, man. Obviously, some of it is just flat out terrible, and some of it is just straight up tragic. So, you know, prayers for the people involved and all that. But they just got too much going on off the field, man. Their coach being fired, all these things with their players. I have so much trouble seeing the Raiders sustain any kind of success going forward. And like you mentioned before we started recording this, the Bengals are coming off an embarrassing loss, man. An embarrassing loss. You know what my motto is? Good teams bounce back big off of bad losses. And I think the Bengals are going to come out and make a statement, even playing in Las Vegas. I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, like you said, I thought last week, I thought that the Raiders showed signs throughout the year that Bisaccia could keep them together. And I still think he can in the locker room, but I also think, like you said, going through what they're going through, it's really tough to play football right now. You can be as together as you want in the locker room. And I think they could win this game, and they're still going to be in the playoff hunt. But I think people forget that, like, these are guys who you like build relationships with and go out to get meals with and stuff like that. That is really difficult for a player to process and then be told, all right, we've got to go watch film like the entire week. We've got to practice and get ready for a game. That's something I think I underestimated last week when picking the Raiders over the Chiefs. And yeah, like you said, like I think Nate's Bengals, they're coming off of a bye week after that rough loss. They had some time to process it. They're going to be well rested. I think they're going to come out hot, and they've had that loss in their mind for a couple weeks now. So I think they're going to come out, really show what they can do. And real quick, shout out Nate. Jacoby Myers' prediction last week in the pick'ems did come true. He got his first NFL touchdown of the season, I believe, not of the career, but and then he also did pick the Eagles as his upset. So congrats, that worked out as well. And I will say, me flipping to the Patriots last minute was wow, that panned out well. If any of you watched last week, I was literally about to pick the Browns, and I've changed my mind in that instant. So I just want to give myself a little pat on the back, because I got pretty lucky there with that change of decision.
Hey, man, that's the beauty of the pick'ems. You got to brag on them just a week later. But with that being said, man, let's get to the Packers at the Vikings. NFC North divisional matchup. We got Captain Kirk and good old Aaron Rodgers duking it out. And man, I don't know. The Packers offense has been looking kind of not really the same the last few weeks. Obviously Jordan Love was in there 2 weeks before. But even before that, it was mostly, and I believe in the game prior to Jordan Love playing, it was a rushing-led win. There's nothing wrong with that. I understand the Packers offense has dimensions, but Aaron's kind of taking a little bit of a step down, more to game manager and letting the rest of the offense do their thing. Meanwhile, you got Kirk and the Vikings who, man, I don't even know. They changed. They got as much multiple personality disorder in them as the Saints do almost. Not quite to that degree, but they'll pull out these wins out of nowhere, dynamic and dominantly, and then they'll absolutely choke a game they should win. So this game to me is a very dangerous one to pick, especially because the Vikings have home field. But I'm going to trust in the bad man, Aaron Rodgers, to get things done. Amidst all this controversy surrounding him, people will be forgetting how dope of a football player this guy is. He's going to come out, and he knows the ultimate way to silence controversy is just win. Just win, baby, win. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers and the Packers at the Vikings.
Oh, I see here that the Packers play the Vikings, or actually they play Kirk Cousins 2 weeks in a row. Is that true?
I don't know. I'll double check that.
You want to check that real quick?
Hold on a second.
Well, anyway, I'll get into my explanation. I'm taking the Packers as well. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to get the job done, like you said. I think he's going to just step up this week in Minnesota. He's never really been fazed by going on the road. And look, I also think AJ Dillon is that's your reaction. I also think AJ Dillon is going to have a game this week. Like AJ Dillon's the man. BC grad. That dude's just a monster. I think he's going to pop off. I love Matt Stafford, man, but the joke was there for the taking. I was just waiting for your reaction.
For those of you who didn't quite get that joke, I've been propagating this narrative that I am very scared. I love Matt Stafford, and I'm very scared he's going to end up in the Kirk Cousins category. Hence Hunter's joke. They play the Rams at the
for the primetime reasons. I think Matt Stafford absolutely has a better arm, but
that's not a doubt. But my point being that was the joke for those who didn't get that. And let's get to the last highlight game, my man. Colts at Bills. The Colts have been on the way up, dog. They started off the season very rough. I mean, very rough. Nobody expected them to start as bad as they did. But they've been getting hot. They've been putting together some team wins. Now, mind you, some of those have been over bad teams recently. The Jags and the Jets are their last 2 wins, I believe. So, take that with a grain of salt. But they've been getting hot. The offense has been firing better. Jonathan Taylor is a grown man. That defense is starting to put itself a little bit more together. And then on the other side, you got the Bills, who have lost to the Dolphins. And then, no, not the Dolphins, the Jags. Sorry, they played it close with the Dolphins. And they lost to the Jags. And then they just absolutely laid a beat down on their younger brother Jets. So, man, I don't know. Again, the Bills have been kind of volatile. The Colts dropped really fast, but then they've risen really fast. But I got to say, I'm going to put my faith in the better QB here. I think both defenses have a lot of talent. I think the Bills
Taking the
defense has a
Colts?
bit
What?
more talent. No, I'm taking Josh Allen and the Bills, and they got home field too, man. And no offense, but the Colts are coming off facing some pretty soft teams. I don't think they're ready for the level of skill the Bills are going to bring in this game. I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, look, like you said, man, the Bills are a really good football team. Obviously, the Titans beating both of these teams kind of shows, Titans prowess. So don't put too much stock in that Titans loss for the Bills. But you know what, man? These Carson Wentz led teams, man, they've kept it close. Like the Colts have been in every single game they played this year, even against the Rams. They were in that game. And it reminds me of the time that the Eagles played the Bills a couple years ago back in 2019 when they just went run heavy and Carson made the throws he needed to make. And I think the Colts have slowly realized this season that Jonathan Taylor is a really good player. Who would have thought? But it's almost like it's literally like watching the Eagles this year with Sirianni at times. But I think that while the Bills defense is really good, I think they're going to find a way to get Jonathan Taylor into space. And I think they're going to go into Buffalo and get an upset. Because I think if you look at the Colts, they got to win one of the next two against them or the Bucs to really stay competitive in the AFC. And I do think that they have a shot with how the Bills have been playing outside of last week. Obviously, both them and the Colts both stomped on the Jets. And they both kept it close to the Jaguars. So weird. Or actually the Bills lost to the Jaguars. But I just think the way that both the teams have been trending, while the Colts haven't had significant or statement wins, I think they're going to find a way to get one here.
I got you. Fair enough. And with that, man, we finish up with the game of the week. We didn't have one last week. We got one this week. Cowboys at the Chiefs. Now,
boy, I wonder who we're taking in that one.
I do wonder who we're taking that. Honestly, this is where you really I pride here on Philly Insider, guys. We like to pride ourselves a bit on our lack of bias most of the time and be able to take ourselves outside of the emotion of most things. Yeah, we don't do a very good job of that when it comes to the Cowboys, in case you haven't noticed. But let's see. Before we just completely show our haterism, let's first talk a bit realistically about this game, man. The implications for both teams. The Chiefs going from near the bottom of the AFC West to the top in 1 week. Then on the other side, the Cowboys, they came off an embarrassing loss to Denver and just stomped on the Falcons. Like, they didn't even give up garbage time points. Like, when I saw the Falcons lost by 40, I was like, really? Y'all couldn't even score some garbage time points? One field goal was all you got from literally an entire game. Like, bro, they had 3 more points than I did sitting on the couch, man. Like, that's about how good the Falcons were this last week. But Cowboys, give them their credit. The offense showed up, defense showed out, whatever. Dude, this game, I don't want to say it's a linchpin game for either team because both of them are kind of like, they got enough talent to where they'll probably be around playoff time. I don't think it's fair to count this one as a whole lot. But this one is going to be interesting to see what each team is made of. For the Cowboys, can they just cement things and try and make a run for the first seed in the NFC? That's a big storyline to watch with them. If they can get that, that's a huge advantage. For the Chiefs, can they continue their upward trend? 3-game winning streak now, if I'm not mistaken. And, can they keep this going? The AFC ain't getting any easier. They still got a lot of good teams over there. They got the Chargers in their own division they got to stay ahead of. The Raiders are obviously collapsing a bit now, but the Broncos are still live. They can win a game any given week. And, dude, the Chiefs, they kind of need this one to keep their season going and keep trending towards competing for one of the higher seeds in the playoffs. My man, who you got? I'll wait. You go first, and then I'll give mine.
Yeah, look, the Chiefs, it really seemed like they found their groove last week. And I think they've had some success on offense this year. They've had similar numbers to recent years, but they just force it or, have turnovers in situations where you just quite frankly can't have turnovers. And Pat Mahomes just made bad decisions. I still think they've got some stuff to work on, but I think when you have Spagnuolo as a defensive coordinator, no matter how bad they started, you are going to have a shot down the stretch. It's almost like how Jim Schwartz, his defenses had their issues early in the season, but down the stretch, he would dial it up. And I think Spagnuolo has been one of the best defensive play callers in the league at times. So I think that the Chiefs are definitely, I think they're going to start hitting their stride, and especially in Arrowhead too. I think they're going to find a way to win this game and hopefully keep the Cowboys offense off the field or make the Cowboys offense play catch up.
I got you, man. I am also going to, unfortunately, take the Chiefs. I think this could be a bad pick, and I'll say why. I'm scared because last week their win over the Raiders came without, obviously, the Raiders going through everything they're going through. And also
and
the Raiders
Sean Jackson.
The Raiders also didn't play a whole lot of cover 2, man. Like, I still have yet to see Patrick Mahomes beat cover 2 this year. That's a very odd thing to say. I never thought I'd say that given the first 2 years of his career. But, you know, I haven't seen it yet from him. And the blueprint is out there. So if the Cowboys choose to run it or not is still up to them. But that's why I'm scared of this pick. But I am still taking the Chiefs. For one, home field, like you said, in Arrowhead. That's one of the better home field advantages in the league. And, dude, I just think, like I mentioned, the Chiefs got a bit more on the line. The Cowboys are coming off a big win. They're in a little bit of a false sense of security. You know what I'm saying? And the Chiefs are hungry right now, man. They're looking to keep the streak going. They have heard all the critics, and they are trying to silence them. Again, the best way any sports player ever can, just win, man. So I'm taking the Chiefs, dude. And with that, everybody, I believe that's it for Weekly Pick'em Wednesday. Hunter, you got anything you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready for the games this week. I'm ready to see Ramondre hopefully ball out tomorrow night.
I got you, fam. Anyway, that being said, again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. You guys are an absolutely great fan base. We love y'all. God bless you and have a good one.